Welcome to our next video lecture over multiplication and division rounding rules, sig figs edition. So in this lesson we're going to cover exactly how do we round multiplication and division calculations to make sure that our sig figs are appropriately recorded. So in order to do this we have 4 steps. Step number 1 is to identify the amount of sig figs present in each number from our calculation. So my example problem right down here, which is 43.9 grams divided by 1.017 milliliters. So this top number we have 1, 2, 3 sig figs, and I'm just going to write SFs. And this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4 because that 0 is trapped, so we have 4 sig figs. Excellent. Step 1 finished. Step 2. Identify which number has the least amount of sig figs. The least amount. So in this problem, the number 43.9 with 3 sig figs is currently winning in this category. Step number 4 is perform your calculation. Whoops, 3, I'm sorry, I can't count. If I could count, step number 3 is perform your calculation. There we go, and we'll pull out our trusty dusty calculator to do this. Perform your calculation. I'm going to type in, can we see that? Yep. 43.9 divided by 1.017, which gives me this big, long, ugly number. Now, not every single one of those digits is significant, so we need to round appropriately. In order to do so, step number 5, now we're to 4. Step number 4 is to round your answer to have the same amount of sig figs as the number with the least sig figs. So that means of all these big, huge numbers that we see right here, we're only going to write down enough to give us 3 sig figs, which is 43, and you know what, I'm just going to write the whole number out so that we can all see it easier, 17502. Alright, now that I've written that out, I need to round it so that we only have 3 sig figs. So I'm going to count my first 3 from left to right. I have 1, 2, 3. That means that those 3 are the only significant figures. Since the number after the 1 is greater than, equal to, or greater than 5, that means I'm going to round up. If it is less than 5, then you round down. So for this one, we're going to round to 43.2 grams per milliliter. And that is our final answer with this problem. Now let's do one more sample problem. Let's do the number 14 grams. I'm sorry, meters. 14 meters. And we're going to travel those 14 meters in 5,214 seconds. So that's 5,214, oh, I'm sorry, that's 5,214 seconds. So, and if I'm going to perform that calculation, step number 1, I need to identify the amount of sig figs present in each one. So there's 2 up top, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom. Step 2, which one has the least amount? That is 2, so 14 with 2. Step 3, perform my calculation, which is 14 divided by 5214, gives me this little itty bitty number, which is 0.0026850786. Now I need this to have 2 sig figs, so I count my first 2, and then everything else drops to a 0. So my final answer for this will be 0.002, and I round up to 7. Everything else drops to a 0, and I don't need to write it, even if this is in the other end. So let's do my last problem, where we're going to multiply a couple together. So let's do, for my last problem, let me cover this up so that we can still see our rules. Perfect. Now, last problem is going to be the numbers 16 centimeters times 4,388 centimeters. So, in order to do this one, step 1, identify the number of sig figs in each number. I count 2, and I count 4. Which one has the least? 16 with 2. Perform my calculation. 16 times 4,388 gives me this big old number right here, which is 70208. Step 4, round my answer to have 2 sig figs. So those are my 2 sig figs right there. Since that's a 2, I'm going to round down. Everything else turns to a 0. That's centimeters squared. There is our final answer. Hopefully this helps clarify any issues that we may have had. Hopefully this helps those of us who were absent today, and I look forward to addition and subtraction tomorrow.